Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook, so you can stop guessing, start healing, and finally feel like yourself again. No more one-size-fits-all protocols, just real answers, deep-rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, on to our show. And good afternoon, Kim.
Hi, Shannon. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm so excited that you're here. Guys, this is going to be an incredible episode. Something that so many people want to always talk about, which is parasites, worms, all of the things. Kim Rogers, also known as Worm Queen. She's the founder of an incredible company called RogersHood Apothecary. She's invented a viral Parify Kit, and she has a really unique, beautiful story as it pertains to her healing, and how she got started in this work. So I'm going to dive right in. Kim, please give us a little bit more information on who Kim, aka Worm Queen, is, and also how you got started in creating this company.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild journey. So it's kind of fun and there's lots of twists and turns because my health was declining so fast. And I come from Western medicine. So the fact that I couldn't get anyone to help me in the space that I was in with all of these issues is just kind of a crazy concept to me. And I decided to kind of do it myself. We're very much DIYers. We built our own log home. Whenever there's a problem, my husband and I try and figure it out on our own before asking for help. And that really did translate into figuring out why I was dying because it was a really scary situation for us. And we didn't really know where to turn or who to turn to because, the things that were happening to my body, they just wanted to keep doing surgery on. So I come from Western medicine. I've been in Western medicine since 2004. I hold two healthcare degrees. I was valedictorian in both of those degrees. That's how big of a nerd I am. And I used to run 25 healthcare colleges that I helped build myself with a company. And I was a professor. So I've been in this space for a really long time. And I just love the human body. I love medicine, whether it's big P or it's holistic. I love the whole concept of it all. So when I started to get really sick, I obviously reached out to Western medicine in my early 20s. They came back and said I had stage 4 endometriosis and beginning stages of cervical cancer, and that I really need to consider having a hysterectomy by the time I was 25. And so by the time I was 29, it was so awful. I was in so much pain all day, every day, that after all of that time, I had a hysterectomy. I had 5 surgeries before my hysterectomy, and then I had my hysterectomy, and then I had 5 surgeries after my hysterectomy. I would have surgeries every 2 years. And in 2019, I had my last surgery and I just couldn't do it anymore. And the doctor said, you can't have any more surgeries. You're actually creating more problems. So my husband and we sold our whole life. We sold our house, we quit our jobs, and we moved out to our recreational property to build this log home and to figure out what was wrong with me because there was just no more help. My doctor said, oh, wait, you haven't pooped in 30 days. It's okay. Take some psyllium husk. And I'm like, what do you mean take some psyllium husk? Like, what is that going to do for me? Why am I not pooping? And so it just ended up being that they just didn't want to help me anymore. And it was time for me to really stop everything and figure out what was wrong with me. So we started to do that in 2019. And by 2020, I had definitely not figured it all out. By July of 21, I had not figured it all out. And I was on TikTok and I scroll with purpose when I'm on social media. And I came across a girl that said, I almost unalived myself over worms. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What is this?
Yeah.
And that's how it all began.
It's literally crazy, just like
Hmm.
how a video can impact not just your life, but thousands of lives you've touched by being able
Yes.
to do this. And so you went in and it was, a certain parasite cleanse of some sort. And then
Yeah.
talk me through just like what happened, what you found, and then how that changed things for you.
So I did just a cleanse. I didn't bind. I didn't know about heavy metals. I didn't know what a binder was.
Yeah.
In Western medicine, we give people charcoal. A binder is like for ours with Parify, it's cinnamon. So it's coconut activated charcoal and Ceylon cinnamon. I
Mhm.
didn't know what any of that stuff was at the time. Coke or charcoal is something you give someone who overdosed or had alcohol poisoning in the ER, and you gave it a lot. You didn't give a microdose. So here I am. I'm literally watching this chick's TikTok. I order just the tincture, or
Yeah.
it was pills, just the pills. I didn't know anything. We take it, and within 3 days, the pain that I normally had on my side, that was an indication that it was time for me to go get a surgery, went away. I went to the bathroom and I saw flukes, roundworm, and pinworms in the toilet. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's exactly why I have pain. And is that my endometriosis? Like all of these things in those minutes, it was like this veil. Well, it is kind of a veil when you parasite cleanse because they're energetic thieves. So they hijack your everything. So it is kind of a veil that was lifted because they're controlling so of your mind. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh. And of course, I go and I sit down and it takes me a few days. I'm a little shook. And then I decide to do a video. And so my 60-second video went so viral. Within 2 hours, 1 million people had watched it.
Oh, God.
I had a little account of 10,000 followers and it shut my TikTok down. Like TikTok could not keep up. There was only a handful of people at the time that were going viral like this, right? It wasn't really a thing like it is now. 4 years ago, it was totally different.
Totally.
And so my phone though couldn't keep up either. It was overheating because so many people were commenting. And I mean, my video is kind of funny. I'm like, I've been in Western medicine for over 18 years and I've never dewormed myself until now. And then they came out of my skin, they came out of my urine. Like, my pathways weren't open. Now I know everything, but they were escaping out however they could. I made my body so inhospitable. They were like, get us out of here. So they were coming out of all orifices. I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? So I shared that in that video and it made people stop. It stopped everyone. And I had this fun song that is like a worm song that I made also go viral. It was fun.
Amazing. I will say I've had a few videos go viral, and one of them is always, I say, what is a full moon and an itchy butt have in common? And it always takes off. I've redone it like 3 times, always takes off.
Always.
People are always so interested on, you know, wait, what? What does this have to do? Well, I'll be curious about the full moon because a lot of people
Oh,
don't
yes.
understand that the full moon can impact parasites. You want to just tap on that while we're on this topic?
Yeah. So our serotonin runs more during the full moon and they live off of serotonin. So they're just getting on the serotonin river and migrating throughout your body and creating new communities along the side of the river. They're like, we're getting some waterfront property here. We're going to chill.
Oh my gosh. I think now, what would be some symptoms now? I think before we started recording, you were saying like my symptoms would always flare during the full moon. I had no idea
Mhm.
this correlation. Talk to me a little bit about some symptoms that somebody might experience if they have parasites, particularly around the full moon.
Well, for me, I grind my teeth. So I do know that that is definitely heightened. Like, I think that, people just think they're stressed, but there is more of a root cause of why you're grinding your teeth or why your skin has issues. And that's a big one for me because I have really great skin and I really always have had good skin. I use good skincare products. And unfortunately, my skin was a wreck and
Mhm.
I could not get it under control. I was changing all my products around. So, skin is a big issue. Eczema, psoriasis, acne, those all stem from your gut. And parasites don't just live in your gut, they live in your blood, your tissue, and your muscle. Specifically, they live in your gut, but they can migrate all over your body, including your brain. So, they're not just in one little spot. And another thing that I had going on was I was never hungry, which I now know is a little mold as well as parasites. I could never lose any weight. I would drink something and I would bloat immediately. Those are all signs I couldn't go to the bathroom. Some people have IBS, some people have IBD. So it really does affect people in such a different way. Insomnia, I terrible. When I say terrible insomnia, I would go days without sleeping.
Gosh.
And it was so bizarre because it would just go really fast too. I would be sitting in my chair because I was very chronically ill. So I'd be sitting in my chair and I would like sit there and my husband would go to bed, wake up, and I was still in the same spot. It was just like this weird trance. And that happens because it's not necessarily you to your core of what's going on. It's really a controlling situation. They're up all night because they're nocturnal creatures
Hmm.
and they start eating at 7 p.m. your time. Yeah, that's their morning. So eating late, craving sugar, all of the different cravings are definitely a parasite.
Oh yeah. I mean, I see that with some clients that have like these insatiable, sugar cravings and their blood sugar is balanced, their minerals are decent, maybe not the best. And then I'm running by a resonance scan and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
And then suddenly their cravings just get better. It's without any berberine or any other things, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Usually when people do our kit, they Parify Kit, they immediately their cravings go away because I put Oregon grapefruit in there with a side of usnea because
mhm.
it just helps curb the appetite and break that candida down. So candida is a parasite. In case you guys don't know that, candida is also a parasite. The definition of a parasite is anything that feeds off the host, or in Latin terms, an unwanted dinner guest.
Love it. Love it. Okay, I want to talk about your kit because I will tell you, for those of you that listen to my podcast, I do bioresonance testing. And in my bioresonance testing, something that you might not know is I specifically program certain supplements that I believe in, that I love, that I trust into the system and run the body against it. So I was telling her before, I've have every single one of her supplements in in my program now and test the body against them. And I really love the Parify Kit because it is one of the only things, I see so many people jumping into harsh cleanses, not binding, not understanding that this can be multifaceted. And it kind of wreaking havoc on their body, or maybe it helps and then it comes back and then they don't, feel good after it. So walk me through, because I know I love it, but walk through why Parify Kit is different than other people's kits.
Well,
Or
I learned a bunch when I was going viral, and I took that information and I studied it because I'm just a nerd. And so I literally figured out that parasites hold 6 to 8 times their weight in heavy metals, spores, viruses, and bacteria. And when you unalive them, they dump all of that. So you got to figure out a way that while you're killing them off and they're dumping all of that, that you're also sweeping that stuff away so it doesn't go back into your body, which is what happened to my husband and me. We had no idea. We started then having heavy metal symptoms. We didn't know we had mold at the time, but we had mold in our travel trailer we were living in while we were building. So there were so many things that I was learning. And so I just found the herbs. Herbs are a frequency. And I just figured out the frequency of the ailment that I had. And I added that into the Parify kit because I didn't want to have to make people go and get 9 different supplements. And that's what was happening. When I was talking about it, I was going so viral. I would spend 8 hours a day. It was so therapeutic for me. I loved it so much. It's the highlight of my life, being able to teach people and to have them understand herbs and understand their body. So I just jumped right in. We literally were in the middle of a log home build and I was like, I'm pausing. I'm pausing the build, Jeremy. I'm going to do this now.
which is amazing. And like you started it in like months and it just
Months.
took off, which is
Yep.
very,
We started it on December 13th. So I went viral on July 18th
wow.
and 2020, and then by December 13th I had started, created, developed, we pulled all of our business stuff and we sold our first kit on December 19th and we sold 500 kits in an hour.
In an hour, girl. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Not stopped since. It has not.
Nope, I've done this every day since July 18th. I've never taken a day off. I take that back. 2 weeks ago, I took a Sunday off, but I probably checked into work.
I feel that in my core. Um, but it's incredible, what the impact you can have. And you've launched even more products, kind of diving into certain things like the mold and the lymph system, which is really important. Can you talk a little bit about why the lymphatic system is so important in this whole drainage support for parasites?
Yeah. So I actually created Moldies, which is also a mitochondria support kit,
Mhm.
but it's so much easier to have it be a mold kit because there aren't a lot out there.
Yeah.
And then my lymph kit is actually a Lyme kit as well. I used dual purpose herbs because I also have chronic Lyme and I've had Lyme since I think around 12 years old. So I have chronic Lyme for over 30 years is what I've gone back and looked at my own self. I got bit by around 10 ticks one summer, and then my whole behavior changed, my health changed. And so, back in the day, no one knew. I was a military family. They just put me on antidepressants at 13, and it was really a whole thing. So, that's also one reason why I talk so much about all of this is that maybe that'll stop another child from being put on unnecessary prescriptions and being told that there's something wrong with you, when in reality, I just had gotten my body hijacked by Borrelia and Babesia. So who knows? Like, but I
Yeah.
feel like back in those days, that's, was protocol. So I picked the lymphatic kit and I picked those herbs specifically because you need to have the three P's open: peeing, pooping, and perspiring. And in
Mhm.
order to do that, you also have to support those organs. So I created it so that you could have a little DNA support and cat's claw that helps repair the DNA. I love lion's mane. It saved my brain. So that helps heal. And then turkey tail, it helped me get out of my endometriosis. It broke down my scar tissue. And
Mhm.
so I just did really high levels of these herbs because we also manufacture our own products in our own manufacturing facility. We built ourselves. We have a 10,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Jonesboro, Arkansas that I run with my business partner, and we have over 30 employees. We don't want to hand this off to anyone ever. We want to do this ourselves. We want to know what herbs, where they come from, how we're soaking them, how we're making our tinctures. We're working on big equipment right now in order to make it more automated because we literally do everything by hand in big batches. And we've sold over 150,000 kits in 4 years. So we're not slowing down. We're definitely getting busier.
Amazing, truly amazing, and makes me like you even more because
Oh, thanks.
I just love supporting, small businesses and, just people that pour their heart and soul into this kind of work.
We
Um,
definitely do that at RogersHood. We definitely do that.
yes, and that have a good product. I will preface because I've known a lot of people that have small businesses, but their products are maybe not as,
Yeah.
not as great. But, I do want to talk a little bit about almost backtracking a little on parasites and
Hmm.
where people even get them because there's this huge misconception that unless I traveled internationally, I don't have a parasite. And we know that's not true. So
Right.
where can people actually like pick up parasites?
Well, even if you travel internationally, you still can bring them across the border. They don't just stop and go, wait a minute, I was an Italian parasite, and now I need to go through the citizenship to become an American parasite. No, man, you can catch them anywhere, including the United States.
Yeah.
And for us in particular, it was in our water here at our home. And
Mhm.
so we've tested our water here in Hoodsport and we've tested our water in Seattle, and both have tested positive for nematodes. Those are
Wow.
physical worms. So they don't test physical worms in our country. They only test parasites. Parasites as a protozoa. So Giardia, defragilis, and crypto. I had crypto. I actually live in the outskirts of a rainforest, and it's very common to have Cryptosporidium parvium in still water out here because the water just sits forever, and so it just creates bacteria and parasites. This is just normal. I just don't think it's normal for Western medicine country people because they're not used to hearing about all of this. But this is 100% a normal thing for other countries like Mexico. They deworm. Jamaica, they deworm with a tea called the bush. Amish deworm, I know they're part of our country, but they're not. They deworm. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many other countries that do this, but Western medicine has somewhat indoctrinated us over the last 101 years, telling us this isn't a thing in a first world country. And unfortunately, it really is because you can get them from your food, specifically salmon, halibut. So most fish have parasites. When you're eating raw fish, you're just eating potential parasites. They say that 1 square inch of a salmon can hold up to 10,000 parasite eggs.
Oh, yikes.
That's about the size of what you put on top of your sushi.
Right.
Well, sushi being raw, but on top of the rice that you're eating with the sushi, undercooked pork is a tapeworm. And RFK Jr., he talks about how he had neurocystic which is a brain parasite, specifically a tapeworm. And pigs are not very clean. They don't have a lymphatic system, so they're not pumping out their toxins. That's just all kind of festering in there. Cows, they can have them. So you want to cook your meat well, no pink, no blood, because they are in our blood, our tissue, and our muscle. They're not just chilling in our gut. And so if you think they're in ours, they're in theirs, and we eat theirs. So it's really kind of a thought process that people don't really understand, but it's a thing. It's like we just think that our food is all really great.
No.
And raw produce. Raw produce is a huge one because it's not always cleaned. It's,
Yep.
And when it is cleaned, how is the water that it's been filtered with? Has it been filtered when they clean the produce? So there's so many things that you can catch it, so many ways you can catch it. And it's not to fearmonger anyone that's listening. It really is about being preventative and being proactive with your health and just cleansing 3 to 4 times a year. Or if you're out eating questionably, because I eat questionably. I mean, I'm human. I want to still have the human experience, but I just now know I have to cleanse at least 3 to 4 times a year. I do it more than that, but that's the minimum we recommend at RogersHood to do.
Like doing a full Parify
Hmm.
cleanse, like three to
Yeah,
four times
30
a year.
days. Yeah, I mean, you can do back to back. So I did back to back with 7 days between for a year. I parasite cleansed every day for a year. Sometimes I didn't give myself a break between, but I mean, we were pretty infested. I had them coming out of my skin, out of my feet with the fulvic soak. I had them coming out of my urine. I had one in my eye.
Oh no! Oh my God. Like, could you see it? You like pick it out with tweezers?
No, it was floating. Like, 'cause I washed my hands and I would put my contacts in, and our water's contaminated.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. Plus, I mean, how much your skin absorbs from just the water in like your shower or like a bath, right?
It's 2 cups of water every 15 minutes your body absorbs.
That's crazy.
Showering in the lake, in the pool. That's why when you get out, you pee so much because your body absorbed 2 cups of water every 15 minutes, and everything in the water, heavy metals, pharmaceuticals, chlorine, everything. So in our case, we weren't drinking the water. We had a reverse osmosis. We were showering in it. We were brushing our teeth. I wear a retainer. I washed my hands, put my contacts in. I was cleaning my produce, thinking I'm doing all the great things, probably contaminating my produce versus really cleaning it.
It's so frustrating too when you're like, I'm doing the right things. What the hell? Like, why is
Totally.
this not cooperating? Oh my gosh, crazy. Yes, I didn't even think about putting contacts in your eyes, right?
Oh, yeah. I
Which
didn't either until I had a worm floating in my left eye.
have there been any crazy stories that you've heard through like people doing these cleanses or yourself or, friends doing them?
My best friend blew over 100 out her nose.
Oh my
And
God.
she is the healthiest. Sam Bruno, she's my co-host with my podcast, What's Eating You. She is the healthiest, most active person I know. She has strongylosis, so it's bad. She goes, I always drank out of the well, and I was in the dirt all the time. And pinworms are a real crazy thing. They can like obstruct your appendix and cause you to have an appendectomy, which is what happened to me.
Mhm.
So it's just, yeah. I mean, I've had feet long tapeworm pictures sent to me. I've seen people pee out large roundworm and it's still moving in the toilet, and they literally have filmed themselves peeing it out. My staff isn't afraid of getting, those indecent pictures. They're afraid to open up pictures and see what worm it is.
That's such a trip. Like once you are in this, there's no going back. It's just,
Yeah,
it's just the things you see.
the things you see.
That's
So
seriously,
many things, man, Shannon. So many things.
but I love it. And it's like, exposing this kind of stuff is important, right? We don't
Yeah.
these actually play a factor in our body. And unfortunately, with traditional medicine, you're going in with things that seem unrelated. We know they're not, bloating, skin rashes, heightened food sensitivities,
Hmm.
insomnia. Gosh, nobody even realizes they have itchy butts half the time.
I
Maybe
know.
the guys have itchy butts, and just all these like weird symptoms. And the doctor's like, Have you tried cutting dairy?"
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but then do you find that this is like it's very hard to get tested, even if they do get tested
Yep.
traditionally? Now, you obviously have your traditional route, you have the functional route doing like, let's say a GI map test. I've kind of gotten away from those because they don't even show up on them very
Right.
often, right? Because one, they hide, did you do it
Hmm.
around the full moon?
They
Or
know.
they're like,
No,
I know.
they really know because, they're a frequency alive in your body. So they know. I've had people who haven't even gotten the kit. It was in the mail. And as soon as they put it in their house, not opened, they just put the box in. The dog pooped out worms. They opened the box. The smell made their daughter poop out worms. And I got a frantic phone call. They were in Ecuador. And I got a frantic phone call saying, "What type of voodoo is this, Kim?" And I'm like, well, first off, it's like an essential oil. Essential oils, you can smell them and they work. So it's kind of the same concept, but they know they're a frequency alive in your body. So it's just they're trying to alter your frequency. That's the whole purpose. They want you to be in a lower frequency so they can stay alive.
This is so fascinating because having, now gone from functional medicine, more traditional to functional medicine to now bioresonance work. I work with frequency now, right?
Hmm.
We test for parasites all the time, and that's so fascinating to understand on somebody that like people can't comprehend this, that you can smell something like, essential oils. We know that this is actually incredibly powerful, impactful for things like trauma, emotional processing, things like that. But why can't essentially open this kit and have the body react the same? That's really interesting.
You walk into our manufacturing facility and it smells like our products. And Sam left and she goes, "Kim, I've never seen so many." And I'm like, "It's because you walked in there and the smells are there and there's a frequency in our shop and everything is frequency in our life. We vibrate at a certain frequency and all day long our body is trying to keep us at that frequency. And that's why you do certain things like drink 8.0 water. It's to adjust you back because we're a very acidic environment. We're a very acidic people. Our bodies are very acidic. So we're trying to get ourselves, they don't like alkaline. So we're trying to keep ourselves at this one frequency and they're trying to lower us in that frequency. And you're trying to keep yourself at a higher frequency to keep yourself healthy. So it's like a give and take all day long. And when you can bring something in like the Parify Kit, I'm adjusting your frequency so that it helps your body heal and it helps you it helps you keep at that frequency because they want you to stay low. They want you to stay that way because they are very difficult to check. I actually sent my stool to Mexico. I like a company called parasites.org. I found them on the internet in 2021. He did a trade with me. I didn't have any money. So I said, "Well, if you send me a kit so I can find out for sure what parasites my husband and I have, I will talk about you." And at the time I had like 200,000 followers. Again, affiliate stuff was not a thing 4 years ago. This is all new. There wasn't a link tree. We were all doing this raw dogging it out there. So you're not, and we weren't allowed to say .com on TikTok. So, we were slying. We're like, Rogers Hood, like we were like doing all parasites org. Like we were all like trying to figure out how big tech is like not, is totally censoring us. Anyway, so he sent me parasites.org, sent me a kit to get tested. And I sent my stool to LabCorp and the same stool to parasites.org. And LabCorp missed everything. I had crypto and they missed it. and it's the same stool. So it just shows how easy it is for these things to evade. They know when they've been detected. They know by smells. They know by your frequency. They're their own frequency. So they're just smart and they've been around longer than us. They'll be around longer than us. But I am really working on, and I have a lobbyist lawyer that I've hired because I really want us to be able to have accurate, affordable, and available testing. I feel like there's a lot of things that could change in our Western medicine world if the doctors could just know they could test accurately and not go outside of their box afraid of malpractice. And that's really ultimately what has happened, in my opinion. I don't think that we're in a time where these doctors that are coming out of school are thinking the same way the Rockefellers did. We were just trained differently. We were just indoctrinated. We all got trained very similarly. We all read very similar books, and the body is very close to being the same for everyone. I mean, most people have the same bones, I mean, so if you really look at it, it's not like Western medicine now is the same as it was 101 years ago, but it is, to their defense, because I come from that world, that it's not like I woke up every day and I'm like, I am going to lie. I am not going to help them. That wasn't, they're just kind of handcuffed in a lot of ways. But I think that if they were able to be given a little more freedom, that this wouldn't be such a problem. It is a problem. In my opinion, environmental toxins are why we have autoimmune disease. The body doesn't know what to do. It's fighting against itself. It's in there just totally wreaking havoc because it's trying to protect you. It's trying to heal you, but it doesn't know what mold is. It doesn't know what parasites are. It doesn't know what Lyme is. It just starts to shut things down because 80% of its energy is being given to figuring out what's wrong, and that only leaves you 20%. And if you have a parasite, 10% is what you live off of because they can steal up to 90% of your nutrients.
My gosh, literally crazy. And we know that, serotonin's created in your gut. These little buggers are not only messing with all that, the gut bacteria there, but also just stealing, I mean, memories, people with
Yes,
brain fog, people with, just thinking they have this severe anxiety and depression,
hmm
and it's like, no, I mean, this could be a lot deeper than that too.
it is. I am a totally different person. I had no contact with my family for 7 years. When this all started, that's when I had no contact with them. I was living in mold, didn't know it. I had parasites contaminating me with my water, the co-infections with the Lyme. I was a totally different person. I would say something and I would think later, why did I say that? That's not something I would normally say. That's not something that is not normally how I would act, right? Something will come out of my mouth and I'm like, gosh, that is not me to the core. So they really can cause mental health issues. I mean, toxoplasmosis alone, it hijacks your mind. It is such a crazy parasite, which is the cat parasite that most of us have heard of.
Yep.
So Toxoplasmosis gondii is found in mice and rats. And so if you ever see a mouse go and cuddle up to a cat, it has toxo. And the reason why it's doing that is because the fear has been removed from its brain because toxo went in and literally controls its mind. So it says, go cuddle up to the cat. So it goes and cuddles up to the cat to get eaten because the next stage of toxo is in the cat's gut. It's an enzyme. So, of course, then the cat eats it. The toxo gets produced. It goes poop. And then they say, oh, if you're pregnant, don't scoop the poop. Well, it has nothing to do with just being pregnant. It's literally anyone can get toxo. It's just this particular parasite, they for sure know will get transferred to your baby. So they say, don't do it. So you're not putting the baby at risk. It's one of the few parasites, they say, that can go through the womb. So now all of a sudden you're acting a cray because you're out there sleeping around. It removes that fear. And actually people that like are fighters, they go to Mexico to get toxo so they're not afraid to beat the crap out of each other. They also did a study of crotch rocket riders who died, and 100% of them had toxoplasmosis gondii in their brains. Yep.
What?
It just removes the fear. Like it just controls you so that you're not afraid of anything and you go around sleeping around. It makes you promiscuous. Yeah, it's really a crazy thought process because it's all stemming from one mouse that got eaten by the cat. Then you scooped the cat's poop. And toxo is not just from a cat. You can get it from any warm-blooded animal, is what my husband and I researched a couple of weeks ago. Because I'm like, it's not just a cat. Because I got this text and or a DM, and they came and said that they got it from a deer. They killed a deer and they cut themselves, and then the deer's blood got in them, and they ended up getting Toxoplasmosis gondii from deer. And then I was like, well, where else can you get it? And it's like any warm-blooded animal. I'm all, oh my gosh, I better correct myself on these podcasts because I'm like, it's just a cat parasite. Oh no, it's a warm-blooded animal parasite. Anybody and anything can get toxo. So if you start acting cray and you're out sleeping around, you should go get tested for toxo. It's an STD. Like it should be included in our panels.
That's hysterical.
It should. It should.
should.
It should. Yeah, that's it. I'm pushing that now.
Just created an award-winning new idea.
Yep.
So it's true. I knew about the cat parasite. I knew about that and all of that very interesting brain, repatterning, but not about all the other people that are taking it
Yeah.
willingly.
Wild, right? Like people literally go down and get it so that they can go and fight and not be afraid. I'm like, what are you talking about? That is wild. Why would you do that?
Wild. People are wild.
They really are.
So fascinating. Now, do you think that people need to even test, or we can just go right in? And because, essentially we know that pretty much everybody has parasites.
I do not think we need to test. I just think that I mean, if you want to know, like I want to know, like I wanted to know what's wrong with me. And I was watching the other day, someone says, do you have health OCD? I have health OCD. I like to know all the names, all the labels. I don't always take those labels, but the labels do help me. Like we talked offline, when I got Lyme, I
Oh,
realized that I should be doing hyperbaric chamber oxygen therapy and NAD IV. And I do just a few things a little differently since I know that I have Lyme to just help, alleviate the Lyme out of my body, or at least the symptoms. So it's nice to know your label, but you really don't need to know that. We all should just be proactively cleansing 3 to 4 times a year minimum. Like that's really where we're at in life. We just know that our pets have it and that we deworm our animals. We should be deworming ourselves. And if you have a dog or a cat, you should deworm yourself. They more than likely have worms or they have been exposed to them. Even a tick. Oh my gosh, we were in Napa last weekend and the dog gave us a tick because they're out there going to the bathroom in the bushes. And then I was petting on the dog and I felt something moving, trying to burrow in. And I looked down and it's this tick. My sister had a tick in her bracelet. We both had ticks because of the dog. Like we weren't all in the bushes, the dog was. So it really is a kind of just a thought process for people to understand that these things are very easy to catch. They're evaders. They're hard to detect. So just do a cleanse with Parify or any parasite cleanse. Make sure you bind. And then also just know that this is something that you should be doing because it's really important to be proactive with your health.
100%. Absolutely. I feel like we could talk for another literal hour on this, but I'm going to wrap things up here. Please let us know if somebody wanted to connect with you. You can say .com on this podcast. So,
I like podcasts. It's so hard to censor yourself. Literally, you can see some videos where I'm like,
so funny because I wasn't on TikTok in the early days, so I didn't know that. That's so funny.
Yeah, they're still really strict. I have found ways to get around. Yeah, I know their tricks. You can find me on Mrs. Rogers Hood on all platforms. On IG, I'm Miss Rogers Hood, Miss Rogers Hood. That's MRSROGERS.HOOD. You can go to my website, RogersHood.com. You can also just type in Kim Rogers Worm Queen in Google. I will appear in all of the magic. And What's Eating You with the Letter U is my podcast, and you can find that on all platforms and YouTube.
Oh, so awesome. And I will put a link down. I put all of her links down below. I also have a discount code if you guys want to go and purchase anything from her. I highly suggest it. And I truly, genuinely mean that. She is amazing. Her products are amazing. The work she is doing is amazing. And I really appreciate you being here and spending time with me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, listeners. Definitely please go share this with your friends. I know there's somebody that needs to hear this, guys. Go leave a review if you can, share it with your friends, and we appreciate you. Catch you guys on the next show.